So this video is going to be a little bit different. I actually have recorded this video in a different way because I want to talk about school supplies again, but I want to talk about how to stay organized depending on what major you are, and I thought what's a better way than actually showing the different types of school supplies that will help you depending if you're a STEM major, humanities, or language arts. And then at the end of this, I am doing a giveaway for a whole bunch of school supplies that were used to make this video, and if you're interested, just stick around to the very end of this video and you'll get the details about how to be part of this giveaway for a whole bunch of school supplies to start your UC Davis year. And if you are starting your college career at a different college, you can enter to win them, and I'll find a way to mail them to you. So with that, let's just go right into this, and I want to start off by actually talking about STEM majors. As a STEM major, there's a ton of supplies that are beneficial for you to stay organized during your college career. And the first thing I'm going to suggest you have is a folder, and this is because as a STEM student, a lot of times you're going to get handouts or you're going to have homework assignments that are pieces of paper, or you're going to get handed back your tests or worksheets that you're going to want to keep track of. So moving on from folders, I really suggest you get some notebooks, and the reason I suggest notebooks is because notebooks are going to be extremely important for you to take notes in. Now, this is probably optional if you have an iPad that you can write notes in, but I really found that paper notebooks for STEM classes, especially math classes, were extremely nice. You know, it's just nice to be able to do math on paper, erase your mistakes, and go back through those notes later when you're studying for your midterms or finals. The other one that I found really helpful is graph paper. You know, if you're in a calculus class or you're in a geometry class or some kind of class where you need graph paper, it was something nice to have on hand even if it wasn't your main notebook paper. So, of course, pencils are incredibly important, not only for your math and your science stuff, but also just for Scantron tests. You know, those Scantron tests you have to do in pencils, so having a few pencils on hand is helpful. And, you know, you don't have to use a number 2 yellow pencil for those Scantron tests. You can use mechanical pencils. I used mechanical pencils like these for every Scantron test in my life, and I've never had one go bad on me. I also suggest you grab some pens, and this is because not every assignment you can do is going to be required to do in pencil, and if you like pens more, you might as well pick up some of those. Also, sometimes pens are required to do for some written exams, and in case you have some of those in your science classes, you might just want to have some of them on hand as well. Post-it notes aren't always associated with STEM classes, but I find them actually to be really helpful just in general for keeping your life organized, whether you're in STEM or in a language arts or humanities course. And the reason for this is because you can use post-it notes as little notepads if you want to annotate a textbook or your own notes. They're also nice to just stick on your laptop if you have some last-minute reminders that you want to keep on hand. And of course, highlighters go hand in hand with all of this. You know, highlighters, when you're doing notes, can help differentiate what's important and what might not be as important. I liked using highlighters in calculus to highlight either equations that I knew I would need to refer to for my exams, or just for proofs that I wanted to know where the beginning and end was. So for STEM classes, especially your chemistry, your bio, and your physics classes, note cards are super helpful when studying. I know in chemistry I wrote all my different OChem molecules on them and on the back their names, and I would study those in preparation for my exams. It's also really helpful when you're studying different types of derivatives and integrals. The other thing that I find myself sometimes very good at using and sometimes not very good at using is a planner. And using a planner that's specific for either school or just for work can be really helpful. It keeps your assignments organized. You can put in when your tests and exams are, when different assignments are due, and when you have to be ready to finish something or when you know that you have more time. And so using a planner keeps your life organized, and sometimes I'll even plan out my days hour by hour so I know how much time I need to use for studying and how much other time I have to do other things. And again, in STEM classes, a lot of times rulers are going to be helpful. You know, you might not use them to measure things, but you will use them for a straight edge. And when it comes to building graphs, or it comes to just drawing diagrams, a straight edge or a ruler can come in a lot of handy situations, and I really recommend having one in your backpack. Another thing that I really enjoyed as a STEM major, because it kept my notes organized, was colored pens or colored pencils, just something that had different colors. And the reason for this is because I could write my notes in different colors, which allowed me to have different sections for definitions that were in one color, sections for examples that were another color, and then sections that were for maybe either different notes or for things that were extremely important for tests that I could have in different colors, so when I was skimming through my notes later, I knew what color to look for, and I didn't have to spend a lot of time rereading through all of my notes just to find important information. And of course, a calculator is going to be incredibly important as a STEM major. I use a scientific calculator a lot in college because you can't use graphing calculators because they're programmable on exams. So I really recommend just getting a scientific calculator and getting really used to using it. And lastly, some kind of laptop. A lot of homework is done online, and really a laptop just keeps you super organized. You can use an iPad, of course, or some other type of tablet, but really I recommend just using some sort of laptop because it just is going to allow you to stay organized with all your graphs, all your files for lab, and you can even import your planner schedule into your laptop calendar and be even more organized that way. So now moving on to the humanities and language arts and just arts in general side of staying organized, I really recommend starting off with a binder. The reason for this is that you get a lot more paperwork in your language arts and humanities classes, especially handouts that are readings, essays, and just other pieces of paper that you may need to refer to throughout the quarter. And I sometimes recommend you even get a binder per class if you're going to get a lot of handouts. And this is really helpful just because you can sort your binder, you can keep it organized, and you can refer back to it. And sometimes professors even give open note tests, and they'll let you bring your whole binder full of all of your notes and all of your paperwork and all of the handouts just so you can refer to them during the exam. And of course, again, you're going to need your notebooks. You're going to be needing to take notes, and having a few of these is going to be really helpful just to stay organized. One per course I would recommend probably. That way you're not getting bunched up in the same notebook, or getting a notebook that has different dividers to keep your sections separated. And if you don't like carrying around a big binder, a folder might be a good option as well. I recommend, getting a folder. That way you can not have to carry around all your paperwork, but you can keep around some of it, help keep your syllabuses in check, keep some assignments in there, and some loose leaf binder paper. And I'd also say definitely keep some Scantrons and blue books just in case you forget there's an exam, that way you're not scrambling to find one. So for language arts classes and humanities, I definitely recommend more pens than pencils. You're going to need a lot of pens. You're going to be writing a lot. For tests and exams, a lot of times it's multiple choice, but not on Scantron, or it might be blue books where you're writing essays in there, and you're going to want pens. But I do recommend you still have a pencil in case you get that Scantron and you need a pencil for your Scantron exams again. It doesn't have to be a number 2 pencil that is yellow, but it does need to be a pencil. So again, I'll recommend note cards. A lot of times humanities classes have definitions that you need to learn, and there can be a lot of them, or maybe dates or important people, and it's really helpful just to be able to do that with note cards. Highlighters are incredibly important for humanities classes because you're going to get readers, or you're going to get texts, or you're going to get textbooks, and you're going to need to highlight important sections so you can refer back to them. Those handouts that you're going to be able to read through, print off, being able to highlight and annotate is going to be super helpful when it comes to exam day and for when you have to write essays about things that you've read. Again, I'll recommend a student planner. I won't go much into this again, but really having something to plan out your life in college can be incredibly helpful to keep you organized. So I also recommend these little tab sticky things. I don't really know what to call them, so I'll call them sticky tabs. They're helpful when you have big textbooks or you have even small reading assignments. You can color coordinate them so you know what each tab stands for. Again, same thing with post-it notes. You can do that with post-it notes as well, or you can use the post-it notes in the same way for STEM classes. And finally, for language arts and humanities classes, I actually recommend an iPad or a laptop again, because really you need something to stay organized. I know an iPad can be really nice because you can write on PDFs and you can write on PowerPoint presentations that are given from the teachers, and this can be really nice to do as well. And you can take your notes on there and you can color coordinate them. And now for the fun part of this video, where I'm going to tell you what I'm giving away. We're giving away 5 brand new notebooks, a white binder, a couple folders, that nice student planner that you saw earlier, a nice assortment of post-it notes and sticky tabs, some of those pens and mechanical pencils that you also saw, Scantron approved, and some highlighters. Also some graph paper that is not shown because I forgot to show it. I hope this video is helpful, and I hope that it helps you stay organized this year in college. So if you want to be part of the giveaway, you got to do 2 things. 1, you have to be subscribed. 2nd, you need to comment below about why you're excited to be going to college this year. And after you do both of those things, you will be eligible for the giveaway. The giveaway will end on September 19th, which is 1 week from this video's release, and you'll be eligible to enter the giveaway up till that point in time. So September 18th at midnight will be the deadline for submissions. At that point, I will go ahead and I will hit the randomized selector thing or other, and it will randomly select one subscriber who commented on this video, and you will win all the school supplies that were shown before. And as always, don't forget to be awesome.